everybody, good evening. Tonight is Monday, March 5th, 2018. This is an abridged meeting of the Board of Selectmen as we prepare to enter the Finance Commission's first public hearing, first of two public hearings. We will dispense with the Pledge of Allegiance as there's no flag in this room, and there is no chairman's update at this abridged meeting. We will jump right to the Aid to the Elderly Committee request for funding, agenda item 4904, and I'll turn it over to you.
Great, thank you. So we're here tonight to talk about requesting some matching funds for the Aid to the Elderly Fund. I'm joined by several members from the committee. Josepha Jowdy from the school committee, Michael Walsh is a member of the committee, Pat Conley, who serves as a resident, and she was a former assistant treasurer for the town. Lena from COA is here. Laura Bakari, who assists the committee administratively. Janice Poland, our assistant collector, who serves on the committee. Sharon Papetti, another resident member of the committee.
Welcome.
And some of our other members couldn't come due to the early time of the meeting tonight, but they've sent along what they'd like us to talk about. So we had a short little presentation that we gave to the selectmen, and we can just go through that really quickly and then answer any questions. But this Aid to the Elderly Fund was established in 1999 by a town meeting vote that accepted a state statute which authorizes the town to do this. The purpose of the fund is specifically to assist elderly and disabled residents with their annual property tax bills. So there are other programs in town that try to assist any needs in the community for other things, but this is particularly what the state set up to help with the property tax bill. It is overseen every year by a committee, and that's required by state law, and some of the membership of the committee is required by state law, so we've listed there who's on that committee. But it is a very full committee who go through the material in great detail and look at all the options. So in Westwood, since 1999, we've really, I think, done an amazing job with this committee and this fund. To have this in place for now almost 20 years. All the funds that are collected are distributed out to recipients. There's no overhead costs, there's no administrative fees charged to this account. So fully everything that we take in, we're able to distribute to worthy recipients by applying the funds directly towards their tax bill. So since the FY99 we first started, we've assisted about 40 residents each year. I will say that the list changes every year. This year in particular, the committee really tried to go out and find new recipients who might be eligible. So our COA was really working, our Veterans Department, really trying to make sure that anyone in the community who was eligible, that their name came forward. And we did get maybe 8 or 9 new recipients. Due to the nature of the account and how it works, we did have almost a similar number kind of drop off the list. Either they passed away or moved out of town. So we think we're at the right amount with about the 40 that we serve each year, that's really getting to those who are needed. So the typical recipient is 88 years old, has lived in Westwood for over 60 years. They live in a home valued about $450,000. They really are long-term residents who really want to stay in this town. The reason the state started this program was really, identifying that in some communities, as the town grows, becomes wealthier, when people want a lot of services, that there's a corresponding rise in tax bills. And we certainly fit that profile. And this is really to try to identify and help those residents who still remain in a small home, have been here for a long time, and would like to remain in their home, in the town that they love. So this is just a way to kind of help give a small amount to help them pay off that rising tax bill. What changed this year was that at the 2016 town meeting, our town meeting authorized us to get approval from the state to be able to match the donations that we take into this account with town appropriations. So this is the first year that the committee has come forward to ask for that, using that new tool. And the committee discussed a lot of options and thought that by asking for a match of what we raised in donation, that was a respectful use of town funds. So for FY18, the committee received about $50,000 in donations. they would request a match of that of $50,000. That would provide a $2,500 payment to about the 42 recipients that we have on this year's list. Again, that goes directly towards their real estate bill. I will emphasize that many of the seniors on this list, on this program, also participate in other programs. A lot of them participate in our senior work-off program, where they're putting in a number of hours working in various departments in the school and town departments. They're doing that to try to help with their tax bill. Some are eligible for state exemptions, $200 or $300 for various programs. So they're not kind of coming first to this account just trying to get a hand up. They're really looking at all kinds of avenues. But this really is a wonderful tool that the town has to help out financially with the tax bill, our senior residents, and really just to acknowledge and try to make sure they understand we want them in town. We don't want to be pushing them out of town just because our tax bill is rising. You know, these are really the people who built this town, first came to this town and made it the nice community that it is. So I think this is really a great reflection of Westwood. People talk about what a nice community it is. This is really a tangible thing that the town has done for a number of years to really, you know, directly help a certain group of needy residents in the community.
Yeah, I mean, first, thank you. I know this is a lot of work. This is important work. And just a couple of thoughts I have. If, you know, the average value of the home is $450,000, we're looking at folks who are in the lower range of property. And the irony is their assessments are actually taking the biggest hit, right? Their values have just absolutely gone through the roof. So one of the, you know, so obviously I fully support this. I think this is great. One of the items, Pam, that you and I have been talking about is the meals, the hotel and meals tax money. We have yet to designate anything with that. I know that account is continuing to grow. Can we tie a percentage of the hotel and meals tax money to this annually and create a funding source?
So I think going forward, that would be terrific. This year, just with the timing of our request, we are asking for the selectmen to take that match from your reserve account.
Okay.
Because that would allow us to apply this to the fourth quarter tax bill,
Okay.
which currently we're processing and sending out next week. But I do think we could, in the future, even at a town meeting, appropriate money from the meals tax either towards your reserve account or to set it up that then the committee could use during the year.
Could we do that at this time meeting?
For future years.
Right.
Not for the
No.
18.
So for the fourth quarter, I'm fine. So we're gonna take $50,000 from the selectmen account and do the match to the donations. Could we get it to this May's town meeting to start that funding source in the next
We
fiscal
could.
year? Because even 2 or 3% is going to be a great funding source for you of the meals of the.
A great funding source. And,
Doesn't have
you know, getting this match and getting about the 50,000 makes a huge difference in what we can give. Again, as I said, we think we have the right number of people. We really do an effort to really get more, so it's not so much trying to get to more people, but to be able to give them a little bit more than what we could do with just donations. And we will continue to do donations. We have many residents in town who are very generous. Every time they pay their own tax bill, they give a little bit into this account,
Right.
which is lovely.
But I think that would be a nice return for folks. That's the actual dollars out of University Station income directly to folks for help. So maybe you and I can work on that offline. Try to get
Yes,
it to this town
and we
meeting.
can look to add that in.
But obviously, this is great, whatever we can do to help. And thank you again for your help.
So just to be clear, so the residents never really see any money, they don't get a check, it just goes right off their tax bill. Just for anybody who might be, viewing this at a later time, that there's no cash ever change hands, it just goes right to the collector's office.
Yeah, we apply it right to their tax bill, and that's specifically what the state set this up for, to help with the annual tax bill.
I actually know the catch, I'm just reiterating for television.
Yeah, I'm ready to say something, make a motion if you want.
Yeah.
I wanted to say, and excuse me for being just a little bit late, I really want to congratulate people in town who give to this account. It is, it's so generous and it's so worthwhile. And I really think that we as a town distinguish ourselves by doing something like this. I think you've done research. Other communities don't do this. I hope they will. I hope we can model this for other people, because I think it's really extraordinary. And for years, it's been solely supported by residents making donations. And I think the success we had at town meeting a couple of years ago, and the support we had from our state representatives to get this through as a home rule petition at the state, this is the culmination. We're finally able to do something like this, which I think is just, we're very, very fortunate. And I think we're helping the people who need it the most. So it's my pleasure to make a motion that we fund $50,000 to match the existing funds in the Age of the Elderly and Disabled Fund. And the funding source, are we identifying that?
Somebody reserve account.
So I'll put that in the motion, that with the source being the Selectmen's reserve account.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none. So thanks again.
Thank you.
It's great.
Efficiency was my question.
And the school,
No.
You will.
We've watched your meetings.
Thank you very much.
If it's only 50, yes.
And we receive letters each year from some of the recipients who send thank you notes, and they're just so appreciative, again, not only the help with the tax bill, but just the feeling that gives them about the community. People are thinking of them, caring for them.
I really want to thank Pam and Janice and Juan, because to be honest with you, I'm just kind of a hairdresser, and I just give them names. They really do the work. And seriously, ladies, thank you so much, because it's through your support that the community can continue to allow its elders to live here. So thank you, seriously. And thank you to the selectmen.
Thanks, Leo.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome to stay for the
You're
rest
all
of the
welcome to
meeting.
stay.
I'm making sure my tissue control. Is it new? Yes.
How are you?
I'm well.
Nice to see you.
This is,
How's the good times?
oh, great.
Yeah.
Fabulous, no complaints.
Yeah, great, nice to see you.
Nice to
So, our next action item is to review the annual town meeting warrant article prior to entering the March Finance Commission's public hearing. So Mike, it looks like we have to remove a couple of articles.
Yes, Department of Local Services has issued an extension to the review of the implementation of the pay access accounting article. This means that the town will have at least 1 more year to work with Westwood Media Center and contract without time constraints, which we learned for this year. And so there's our recommendation that the board remove the article, changing the source, changing how we deal with pay access funds going forward. We may never come back with another article to replace it, because we were headed toward a direct distribution to the pay access, although I would rather see the legislature adopt how we handle pay access funds, because I think it's more appropriate.
Is there any chance that they would listen to that at this point?
There
or
is
what do you
some,
think?
yes. We met with a lawyer who advises the legislature and has been working on this issue, and he expressed the same thing. He thought that the way Westwood handled it, by just simply taking the money that comes in, is the best way to handle it. These monies can't be used for anything else anyways, so he doesn't see the reason. But he understands and accepts that it's a way that we can ensure that the monies are being adequately expended, which we ran into a few years ago. And if they're not, to be able to hold them back rather than having them returned to us.
Okay.
Is there any help that our state legislators could provide in that?
Sure. So we can talk about that.
That'd be great.
Do you want to make a motion?
Move that we remove the article for local services, Department of Local Services, for the PEG access accounting article for the spring town meeting.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so Mike, when I look at the annual town meeting warrant articles, the draft, A through K is, I'm sorry. Oh. Sorry. Oh, okay. Oh, no, thank you so much. Okay, so this is the fund to set up assistance with our SHI, our subsidized housing inventory. So do we need a vote to put that on?
Yes, you do.
Okay. So this is $489,000 that the town currently has, but is rightfully owned by New England Development.
And correct, yes.
So we have entered into an agreement whereby they will forfeit the $489,000 so the town may mitigate the necessity of adding more subsidized housing to our rolls as a result of an administrative change with Bridges. Correct. So when Bridges was built, the state did not require, the state did not include long-term residential care housing units in the SHI. They now do. So the developer is forfeiting this $489,000 so that we may mitigate the necessity of adding 7 units. In addition, the town will match closely $511,000 to make a $1 million fund. We believe most of the 511, Mike, we will use from phase 2 building permits.
Well, the idea is it's gonna come out of free cash, and the point being that the building permit fees that we've collected, $315,000 for Brigham and a hotel, and the additional for Pulte, which we estimate to be about $250, are gonna flow into free cash this year. And so you, in theory, you could be thinking, you're just taking what you're contributing in
Right.
to back out to add to the fund so you get $1 million.
Okay. That makes sense, Mike? Okay.
That's great.
That's great.
And it's great for the building permit revenue to be coming in from Marriott and the Brigham and Women's Facility to deal with that too then.
Yeah, and we looked into some possibilities for providing for affordable housing, and it may very well be that we can get 7 units for this $1 million. So
Great.
I'm encouraged.
So I move that we use one of our miscellaneous articles for a new article entitled Affordable Housing Appropriation.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye, opposed, none. Okay, so now on page 13, just in terms of presentation tonight, so my understanding is A through K, which is the financial articles, Pam would be addressing.
I think we're starting from D right there.
Yeah, because we don't have
The operating budget,
We don't have any-
the capital. We don't,
I'm gonna tell them that we'll do the supplementals at their hearing at the end of March.
Right.
Okay, fine. Letter,
And is that, oh, it's just a standard article.
That's just a
Capital
standard
article.
article.
Yeah. They should know what that is by now.
L, the school borrowing for funding for MSBL, which the school committee will handle. N and O regarding, N, O, and P regarding Islington. Oh, I'm sorry. N and O is only Board of Selectmen. Correct? Are you speaking to that?
I can, there's nothing to report yet.
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
nothing to
come
report,
back
just-
and do that.
just that it's-
Should we apprise them of where we are though in the process?
I wish we could.
No, but where we are, I mean, the meetings that have been held and the discussion last week.
We can
We're
review with
playing out what
them,
is.
we can review with them the fact that we've got an ongoing, we have ongoing discussions,
Yeah,
yeah.
that would be good.
Okay, so that was M and N. O, P, Q is the planning board.
Islington. Is that the planning board will speak to those?
Planning board will speak to the 2 zoning articles in
Okay.
Islington and the petition article.
And what about the housekeeping? Is that,
There's nothing,
nothing on housekeeping?
nothing yet, they still want to hold it till the 26th, so there's nothing by then, I'll ask for it to be removed.
All right, perfect.
Is Hedgerow Lane ready to go?
No,
Not yet. So we heard there are 3 neighbors that are involved in the negotiations. 2 of them are very close to resolving it. The third one is a meeting with Abby in the morning with some questions before they'll meet with the attorney.
So at least for tonight's purposes, we can say we're just not ready.
It's just not ready.
Okay.
And if it's not ready by the 26th, it will be pulled.
Town bylaw placement of removal of snow and ice around fire hydrants. Chief Deckers, you'll address that. The petitioner articles, obviously spoken to by the petitioners. The planning board will be rebutting it or addressing it.
They'll give their recommendations, the zoning articles, so they're required to recommend.
Perfect. The appropriation for a comprehensive study of security needs for school and municipal buildings.
I can handle it, but I'll tell you now and tell you then, where we are. We've got the language, Pam helped with the language, so we had it correctly set up as an account. And I'm meeting with members of the school committee, not members of the school department, and members of the town staff, with 3 consultants that have been identified by a resident in Westwood, which we dealt with for security issues at Westwood Lodge Hospital when it was open. And he researched and found 3 different firms that he's gonna bring to us on Wednesday. We're gonna have an interview, partly to get a scope of services that we would like to be following, and partly to identify how much money we're gonna.
Why don't we do it as I'll just.
Yeah, I think the policy
introduce it,
piece is what I was.
And then you can add what's being done.
Sure.
Mike, it's still gonna have to go to bid, right?
Public bid.
Still have to go to public bid?
I believe so, I'm not absolutely certain. It's one of those areas where you would be looking to hire a firm, not based on price, rather based on their qualifications and the product that they'll provide you. The price is a part of it, because there are certain firms you may feel are great, but you just can't afford them. But theoretically, this is one that you want to focus on their qualifications over their price. So it's not a low bid contract.
You'll do the appropriate procurement process.
That's correct.
Yeah, I think for tonight, we can address the policy issue with the driver license. The affordable housing appropriation, I'm fine speaking to it, Mike, and you
Yeah.
can assist. I mean, really what we need the Finance Commission to do, PM, is to vote in favor of the reappropriation of the $489 from one fund to the subsidized housing.
I want to just make a point about those 2 articles that we just talked about,
Yeah.
is that those 2 articles have not yet been put onto a communication to the community. Therefore, they have to be put onto a communication or a listing to the community, which we'll do before the next public hearing.
So should we just say they're there?
I think you should just say that.
Oh, just talk to them.
These aren't being heard tonight
Yes, they haven't been.
because they haven't been
Okay, fine.
advertised.
Okay. I just want to make sure we're clear when we're in front of them, how we're
Yeah,
conducting ourselves.
you can mention them, that
Okay.
they're coming, the Finance Commission is unaware, but they can't really hold a public hearing on it tonight.
Okay. And then the last 2 are miscellaneous, and we don't have anything as of today.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think we have a plan. Anything else? Okay. The Board of Selectmen will next meet on Monday, March 19th, 2018 at 7:30 PM in the community room at the Westwood Police Station.
I move we adjourn into the Finance and Warrant Commission public hearing and adjourn, we will then adjourn at the end of their meeting.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.